Okay. Hi, welcome to this first session of student counseling on their career path. Um, Especially, I received a lot of requests from many students asking how to apply the PhD positions in Europe and in in the US. So, in this session, I would explain the general procedures that you have to follow to apply this position and to get these positions, what to do and what not to do. All right. First, I would like to start by saying that first you have to um, um, decide where do you want to apply. Uh, Today, we will basically talk about either US or Europe, in different countries in Europe. Because the application systems and education system are slightly different between the US and Europe. In the US, uh, typically the PhD is from 4 to 6, can be 4 to 6 years, and first 1 or 2 year you have to take all the required courses, and then you have to pass the qualifier test exam for PhD, and then you are officially enrolled in PhD. Um, but in Europe and in the US, you can apply if you have complete bachelor's. So your master's degree is may not be required, because in the US they call it grad school rather than PhD position. They got grad school, which is meaning masters as well as PhD. So you do not need to have master's degree um, to apply for PhD positions in the US. But in Europe, it works slightly differently. You have to have master's degree, um, and it is PhD position. Um, and you have to do the research work from the day one, meaning there will not be much course for you to do. So from day one, you have to start research, and it is mostly the funded positions are only 4 years, meaning you have to complete your PhD uh, in Europe within 4 years. Okay, that's kind of mandatory. But in the US, depending upon the fund available, you can go up to 6 years. So this will help you to choose between the US and the US and the Europe. Okay, this is the first thing. So, and how do you find? Well, we in this session we will limit our um, universities which are renowned in astronomy or astrophysics. Okay, so in general, it may also apply for physics, but we can focus more on astronomy and astrophysics. So once you decide between the US and um, Europe, then you have to find the universities that that you want to apply for. Okay, you don't want to randomly apply any universities. Remember that you have to apply the application fee. You have to pay for application fee for your application. So which um, can be up to $100, right? For Asians, South Asians, it might be an significant amount. So you just don't want to pay the application. So what you do is first find the university. Uh, and how to find the university? Actually, in the US, for US, there's a AAS website, Job Registrar. You can see all the PhD positions in astronomy and astrophysics. And in Europe, there are many websites, but Eurosex is well known, and there are PhD in Europe. There are many Facebook groups and so on. So there are tons of resources online where you can find the information about the school you want to apply for. Uh, and once you the how do you decide which school to pick up? Is basically go to the department And what is the strength of this department? uh, Physics and astronomy, in some department astronomy is a part of physics department, but in some universities they have separately astronomy division department. So go to the website of the university, go to the department, and look at the research activities what they're doing, right? And look for the research that align to your interest and your previous research works. So once you find the research group and look for the professors, uh, and you can start emailing them, okay, saying that I am very interested in, to work with you. My past research actually aligns with the activity going on, something like that, right? Something like that, and you apply them. In the meantime, you also want to look into the grad school admission required documents or materials. For example, what they may require, right? Um, so once you pick the university, let's discuss what materials can be they may require. All right. In the so in the US, in the US and both in Europe, you will need to send them your SOP, the statement of purpose, strong motivation or motivation letter. It should be a very strong, and your CV resume, and your certificates, and recommendation letters. And these all play very important role, especially your motivation letter, or you can call SOP, uh, and recommendation letters, right? If you have been working with someone at your department, at current your department, um, let him or her write the recommendation letter. Um, strong, of course. I mean, strong letter. So these are the basic documents they require. Uh, Besides, in Europe, you have to send master's certificates. Okay, this is mandatory for PhD schools. Um, okay, and then you send the professors the email and ask about the position possibility. And once they give you kind of uh, green signal, okay, we're interested, we want to look for your CVs and what you've done, you're welcome for application, then you send the application. Again, this is, I would like to emphasize, this is important. Why? Because you don't want to pay the application fee to the university that you don't have chances, right? You want to pay only to the universities where you have likely, you're more likely. All right, then you send your applications. And you There's a one difference between the about the required documents in Europe and USA, is that USA usually requires a TOEFL, um, as non-native for the non-native English speakers, and GRE scores also. Well, some of the US universities may not require GRE, but some of them require GRE scores. A TOEFL is mandatory. Without TOEFL, they won't take your application. Your application will not be complete. But that's not the case in Europe. In Europe, if your education in bachelor's education or master education was in English, then you don't have to. You don't need TOEFL or, excuse me, you don't need TOEFL or GRE. You can directly apply, and your certificate somehow should say that the courses you took in masters were in English. So basically, there's no problem. So you don't need that thing for Europe. Okay. So I covered how to pick up the university, USA or Europe, depending upon your choice, and then the required documents that you need, uh, and the CVs, and then those statement of purpose and recommendation letters. Uh, and how do you find these positions? The positions from, so if you're in, again, in the US, go to double A site, and but again, there are tons of resources. This for US, there's PhD portal, gradschool.coms. You can find different kind of universities. Um, and these positions are mostly funded. Okay, these positions are mostly funded, so you don't have to pay anything except the application fee. Usually you will receive a stipend. These positions are fully funded. Um and your salary or stipend uh, could be something between 1,500 um, to $2,000. I don't know, $2,000 maybe, or around that number. So once you are, and this comes through the research assistant position or teaching assistant positions. So once you are enrolled, they give they have two. You have mainly two options: research assistant position and teaching. So in teaching assistant position, you'll have to teach the undergraduate labs. You're required to teach some of them, be there and help the undergraduate students. But if it's a research position, then you don't need to actually teach anything. You just sit in your office, your lab, and start working on this. Um, so and when to apply now, when to apply, this is important question. This actually there are two kinds of positions, PhD positions, right? One is something called structured position that has fixed timing of the year you have to apply and these things, and one is the positions funded by some research group. You can call it unstructured, but I would call it some individual positions. So the difference between is that the structured positions are opened in the fixed time, and it is mainly the graduate office. The graduate admission office has main role in it. Okay, but these unstructured individual positions are the positions announced by the supervisors. Some of the people have grants. Whenever their grant is accepted, they're looking for the students. So any time during the year. So this is another difference between US and Europe. In Europe, these positions may open anytime during throughout the year, but USA is prefers mainly structured positions. Um, and so this is important question for how when to apply. So uh, so for USA, there are mainly for fall semester starts. Some most of the enrollments are. So for that, they advertise from December to February, let's say. So right now, this is the perfect time for applying. Okay, um, uh, and some of them might also accept students during the spring or the winter. So starting for January. So these positions will be advertised somehow somewhere May, April in the US. Uh, in Europe, the positions are mostly the structured positions are mostly start from September, October, because that's when their semester starts. Uh, uh, but I don't think that they do in winter. But having said that, I emphasize that they open position throughout the year, depending upon the whenever they receive funds. Um, so one of the ways to, I mean, this would be very important to find your potential supervisor. Uh, I mean, I would suggest you to attend the online seminars and conferences, this kind of things, and try to communicate and build a connection with the people you want to work with. uh, for example, gravitational waves or high energy astrophysics. So that way you can later communicate, and the application process will be easier. Uh, um, so when to apply, I covered that also. And what else? Uh, and these are the basics. I think basic things I would wanted to cover. Uh, the difference between the USA and Europe. 4 year versus 5 to 6 years. Language requirement in the US, they require language. TOEFL is mandatory. In Europe, that's not quite necessary, and you should send in Europe. Master's degree is mandatory again. In the US, you can apply right from bachelor's. If you have bachelor's degree, that's enough. And strong recommendations letter are important in both cases, and strong SOP also. Statement of purpose is also very important. And these are roughly the what how you should apply. But there are some of things don'ts, not what not to do. So again, do not send your application indiscriminately to any places. This doesn't help you, right? You again, for one of the reason being the application fee. You have to pay application fee. Oh, by the way, in some places you can request them to waive your application fee, saying that we're from Southeast Asian countries and it's $100 or $50, whatever that is. That means a lot for us. It's a significant amount. So I would like to request. They have some funds, Sometimes they may waive also, meaning you don't have to pay that. Okay. So you don't want to send your applications to discriminately anywhere. Only those places. First, communicate with your potential supervisor. First, find the research activity they are doing. Ask the question: does it align? Is that what you want to do? Does it align your previous works? And then write to the potential supervisor. And once he or she gives you kind of the signal, okay, I will consider you. Show us your CVs, and then you apply. Okay, that's so. Do not apply indiscriminately to these positions. The other thing is, what I've found is people usually use. I mean, there's excessive use of ChatGPT AI thing writing your SOP, and we immediately detect this the writings. Okay, I mean, if it's not a human, I mean, then the professors, we will think about that. I mean, you don't have even energy to write your SOP by yourself. This is really looks negative in your application. That your application looks SOP should look genuine, right? Uh, um, yeah, of course, you using chat gpts and other AI tools is useful, but not to the extent that it will look really artificial, and that will not help you. All right, this is one of these don'ts. And what else? uh, I would welcome, and if you have any questions, you're free to any questions in the comment sections. And what I would like to discuss, let me uh, And yeah, I mean, astronomy, astrophysics. Actually, we want to discuss that part as well. Um, so, what are the current, the very actively done research is okay. I've got a question from Muhammad. He asks, "I have completed my master's in UK. Should I give TOEFL?" All right. Again, if I assume you are a non-native speaker, meaning you're not from UK. If I assume that, then if you apply to USA, yes, you still have to. I think you still have to do a TOEFL, uh, but not in Europe. You don't need this, and because you are already in UK, for UK, you don't need, because you basically you did your masters from TOEFL. So yeah, again, so for USA, if you're not from UK, like your citizenship is not UK, probably you will have to do take the TOEFL test. Okay, Mohammed, I hope this answers your questions. Okay, this is. I got another questions. Is celebrity news is paper? This is, yes. You, I am. Thank you for this question. So he or she asks, is paper publication is mandatory for PhD applied to get? Yes. You reminded me. Yes. This is a very important question, because in Europe, yes, In Europe, if you want to go to a good school, the paper publication are not quite mandatory. In some places, yes. In some places, yes. For example, in my university, you have to have one publication, at least one publication, because your all the applications are graded. The points they have. So these days, many people tend to publish like at early their career in bachelors. Even bachelor students, they have really good publications profile. They have already published. So if you want to go to a good school in like Heidelberg, or Jagiellon University, this is highly reputed university. Yes, it will really help you for your acceptance. All right. So this is important. Everyone should keep in mind that having a publication really helps you. But everywhere in the US as well. But in the US there are other things also provide GRE or TOEFL. But in Europe this is very strong. All right. So Muhammad again asked me. Okay, sir. Okay. Um, Ananthu Sandal is asking, is having a publication mandatory for securing PhD positions? Uh, well, in some sense, yes. I mean, it is really helpful in some institutes. It is mandatory, but it may not be mandatory everywhere in Europe. In some of the university, yes, it is, and having a publication really helps you. Okay, that is the uh, the, uh, that is the answer to Ananthu's question. So it's good to have publications. Um, and are there any other questions? Okay. So Europe, USA. Yes, I was talking about this astronomy. So some of the what are the very actively done research these days is one of these is you have to think about like this. I mean, these days the observational astronomy is I mean, because we have lots of telescopes, space telescopes, ground-based telescopes. There's a large team of people working together. So observational high astronomy physics is the place you want to go, and that also means gravitational wave, black hole physics, X-ray, gamma ray. So these have lots of potentials. And because for example there's the James Webb telescope, right, which is mainly done for galaxy evolution and exoplanet. So so you'll find lots of positions and grants because people are applying because the telescopes are there, the people, the supervisors, the faculties are applying for grants. Once you use the grant, so these are the hot topic. um, Exoplanet, galaxy evolution, gravitational wave, and high energy astrophysics like cosmic rays. This kind of research is done in a big collaborations. So there will always an instrumentation if you're interest also. Instrumentation is also because they are building again space telescopes, and these are also important. And what other, if you ask me, what other skills are important? Well, Python is more or less the most, unless you are working into theoretical astrophysics. In that case, you will need Mathematica. Mostly, that's required. In other cases, it's a Python, and there are like if you're working with catalogs and observational, then Topcats, Aladdin. These are the other softwares you should be familiar with. um, and what else? And if you want to go to high energy astrophysics, then Gearsoft and different instrumentation. Familiar with this different kind of space instrumentation is will be very useful. Um, so uh, what field do you like to go? I mean, if I may ask, I mean, what the field research topic are you looking for? Maybe you can some of you write. No, it helps. I mean, if you're applying and then if you say that I can go into any field, then your application doesn't look so good. It will be good if you have some kind of knowledge, what you want to do, or what you've done. For example, Muhammad says galaxy evolution. Now the question would be, have you done anything before? I mean, have you been involved in any research projects with your current supervisor, or anything? That would be really helpful if you've done any work in any place. That would be very helpful. So I would suggest that no matter where you apply, first, this is the right time. Okay, so this is the right time. Organize your SOPs and CVs, and ask your supervisors, current supervisor, for the recommendation letters. And deadlines are AAS. Okay, the AAS is one of the famous website for US. And in Europe, there are many ways, PhD portals, PhDs in Europe. There are many Facebook groups also. So you should start right now looking for and look for many schools and positions and sort it out, uh, and then you should it's time to apply actually. Um, so Muhammad again says, I have written two theses, one in rotational curve of spiral galaxies, another in spectral classification uses. Oh, very good, very good. This is very important work. I mean, both of them are, I'm familiar with these works, uh, because I work with AGNs and supermassive black holes. So these are very important topics. I think you can, yeah, and machine learning. Okay, one of the things he meant is, machine learning is a very integral part, has become these days, has become the integral part of the astronomy, astrophysics. So very good. I think your CV would be impressive, because you're doing the uh, the rotational curve and spectral classification, unsupervised machine learning. So I assume you're looking for some lines in optical spectra, some X spectra, and 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 uh, and based on that you will be classifying. Okay. There's another question from Anathus Sanal. Typical intake timing for astrophysics PhD program in. Uh, okay, you mean when the courses begin? Yes. Well, if accepted, when they enroll. If this is question, then September, October is the structure. Again, I explained earlier what is structures and unstructured PhD positions. If it's a structures, so everything, your application is, you'll be selected by September, and you will have to be here in October or November if you're late, really late. So these are the timings. And again, as I told, structures, you should look for their advertisement and the universities, and there some of the positions are always open, throughout the year. So how would I know? This is a bit difficult to know, but they are, depending on fund. Okay, tips and tricks. What is meant by applying for? This question. What is meant by unstructured program? Unstructured. Well, structured PhD program is that it happens at a specific period of time, right? They have it goes through the graduation admission office. So this is a structures, meaning when to apply, um, what are the procedure, basically time when to apply. But unstructured means that, one of those faculties get apply for big grants, and whenever they take grant, they pay from their grant. Okay, not the in that case the university will not pay, but the grant will pay. Okay, there's a slightly difference between you being paid. These PhD positions are paid positions, right? Eh, In most of the Europe, it is treated as a job rather than student. Okay, so what unstructured means is, the faculties have grants and they have the money. They can pay the student stipend, and they can announce anytime they want, because they have to immediately start the research. Okay, so that is the meaning of unstructured. Is that clear? I would like to hear from tips and tricks, if I explained well. All right, then Bhaskar Singh Raut asks, if structures PhD positions start from September. From which month we have to start apply? Oh, you have to apply. The positions will be open. For the structures one in April. They advertise start April, and the deadlines are usually August. August, and then the decisions are final in September. Uh, in most cases, there's an interview as well. Okay, first your application is reviewed, and if you're successful in the first part, the second part will be the interview. Okay, the interview basically they ask what you've done. You have to. They may also ask to present a small talk of what you've done. So for Europe, the research really matters, right? So it really helps. Again, the same thing. I'm repeating this thing. If you have a paper, this really helps you, because in USA, first 2 years a little more, you have to do the coursework. Yeah, in the USA. But in Europe, no. The next, starting from the next day, you arrive there, you engaged into research. So research is more emphasized in Europe. Okay, there's another question from Mohammed uh, Madini. What are the grade requirements in BSc? 8.49. In my master's, I got 67%, equivalent to 3.7. Uh, yeah, in Europe. Well, they have grading systems, different kind. Some of them do here in 10. So 8.49 is good, uh, but 9 would be like really. But again, yeah. I mean, if you ask me personally about your grade, it's good. But again, grade is not the only deciding factor, right? If you have other things, like for USA, your TOEFL is good, GRE is good. This will also be weighted. Uh, but for your personal case, your grade is good, right? But again, having said that, this is not the only thing that is graded. Like the other things. Okay, then I have another question: which is better, Europe or USA for astrophysics? This is a bit difficult question. I mean, again, I explained to you. Europe basically takes 4 years, and USA 5 to 6, sometimes 6, because you start research late, meaning third year you're fully into research. Third, because you have to do the coursework and pass the qualifier test. Well, if you look at, I mean, it will be helpful for tips and trick. What field have your background, or what field you want to go? That would be more helpful to answer question. But again, there are many teams. Europeans and US are equally importantly contribute to the astronomy and the astrophysics. But having said that, I think there's a more research activity in Europe. That's what I would say. um, this Germany's, Italy's, Spain, Poland, they're going to do great research. And I would say it is better for you to do, again, this is personal choice, but it would be, if it is good to do your PhD in Europe and go postdoc in US. That would be that I would think that would be right course, because um, Europe, they have lots of funds, and then you basically go to many conferences. And Europe, compared to USA, is kind of small, right? So you can, if you're in Germany, you're frequently going to the conference in Italy and Spain and everywhere. So that then you have rather exposure. US is a big country, right? I mean, uh, it is and I would like to say that there are not as many. um, I mean, I may be wrong, but from my personal experience, I would say there are many more conferences in Europe, combined Europe, compared to USA. That what that means is you can go to many conferences and interact with many people, and then that, and for your potential, if after postdoc, you're looking for postdoc, you'll meet these people. Okay. Well, again, it's hard to say which one is better, but if you ask me, I think again, you may have personal choice, but Europe would be a better place for your PhD and postdoc. Then it's a job, so any good uh, a group, strong group would be. Now, there's another question, Muhammad Marini. What is the difference in funding between US and Europe? I was searching for PhD in UK, but there were not many. Yeah, and, unfortunately, in UK, UK have, yeah. I mean, this is maybe typical with UK because it's not in European Union. In the rest of the Europe, they do science together, European with European. So fund is, from one country to another, things like that. So there are more opportunities in European Union, but unfortunately, UK is not the part of the European Union, and so it has to do with his own money, and we having a, we are having a hard time these days, war and these things. So they have to spend on other things. Um, yeah, but rest of Europe does science combinedly. But I would like to believe that there are more opportunities like in Germany, Italy, Poland, or Spain. And even small countries like Estonia, Latvia, or Finland, Norway. They also have some, and Sweden. Okay, I have another question. Is it true that PhD is hard in Europe than US? Does PhD in Europe demand strong CV academic background? Could you elaborate this from your experience? Uh, um, I don't think it's hard, but if it is definitely involved, more involved. That's what I found. The PhDs in Europe tend to be more involved, uh, but that does not necessarily mean it's hard. The PhDs in Europe, strong CV and academic background, meaning there, yeah, they would like to know that you were into research and you have some skills. That's they want to, because again, you have 4 years, and they're investing, right? And they're investing the time and the resources. And if so, they would like to make sure that this student will come here and he or she has a potential to do the research and to take it to some end. So that is important, right? So that's why they will look for, not I mean, you cannot call it they require strong CV. I mean, even if let's say your supervisor favors you and like a strong recommendation letter, that doesn't mean everything can be seen in your CV, right? What you've done, what you've skilled, you just can't lie about them. Yes. So but if you have good skills in Python, uh, at least been involved some project, if you have a publication, it's very very easy to get in here, meaning you have a strong chance. So you already know research, how to do research, how to write paper, things like that. uh, but hard, no, I wouldn't say. It's more, I think, I think more enjoyable also. That's what I think. uh, but US can be a similar thing, if you have. But one thing I would like to point out, that PhDs can be of two kinds of positions. Some are independent, meaning you have a more or less field, and you can choose and you can do whatever you like to do in that particular boundary. Yeah. And some of them are strictly looking for a large group. For example, in gravitational wave, right? So you'll be contributing, you'll be working in a large team, and you'll be contributing in a small part of it. Okay, so that you have to decide, right? Both have pros and cons. The advantages are that you have lots of exposure with people from different countries. You work in a big group and you can ask questions, this and that. If you work in a large group, but sometimes the disadvantage may be that you're only working into a small part of a big problem. So meaning you don't even you don't need to, if you want, need to know the overall picture, so this could be sometimes a disadvantage. But on the other hand, independent, like independent positions, meaning you're working with only your supervisor, and you have a broader uh, um, topic, but you can pick some part of it, whatever it suits you. But then your freedom, the advantage is that, but the disadvantage comes maybe that you're not exposed to a large group. There's so many things you have to figure out by yourself. So what is the difference between funding and, yeah, I think I answered the questions. Yeah, in UK, yes, that was the question by Muhammad. And tips and tricks asked me, is it true that PhD is hard? Yeah, okay, I already answered that question. What is the scenario about career in astrophysics and on branches of other physics? Well, I mean, I would like to say that the positions after you have a, so this is very important that you get a job after your astronomy, astrophysics. You can approach this question in two ways. One is the things that there is a very tough competition in the field, very difficult. You have to be really good in your PhD, because most of the position is, because of the computers, AIs, and there are less and less positions available. Um, it's getting difficult. But the good part is that um, in astronomy, astrophysics, you learn about data and machine learning and lots of Python. You use a lot of computational tools, and that makes you eligible for the other positions later, like data science. You know, so you have to um, carefully decide what you do. Yes, yes, there could. The sense is that there are less positions um, in astronomy, astrophysics. Uh, but if you're really good, I mean, you can always find one. But later, if there's always position that possibly that you wanna switch the position. I mean, you wanna go to different field, then it's easy for you, because you have lots of computational skills, machine learning. So that will help you to switch the career if you want in your later part of life. Okay, how many universities should I actually apply to? Many of the universities have research that are of interest. What is the ideal number? Safe, moderate? I mean, the first thing is I would suggest you to send email to the supervisor, your potential supervisor. Okay, and tell him or her that, what I have done this in this kind of work. I am interested in your research group. So what are the chances? Just directly ask. You know. So I mean, if you have a strong chances, then applying 5 places, 6 places is enough, more than enough. But if your um, CV is not so strong, maybe try looking for the ones who are really looking for the students. So maybe you want to apply for tens of positions. But again, um, it should be affordable, right? I mean, you'll be paying application fees, and which tend to be $50 to hundreds dollar. And you obviously you cannot apply to many places. So this depends upon the I think the safest way is to go, find those universities, they have this year program, and send those faculties email that, well, I'm interested in the program, this is my CV, what are my chance. Just right. um, if they give you a stronger signal, then you apply, and they say that, okay, we'll see, I mean, we have other people also, then then you decide. So apply at least 5 6 places, that's I would say. Okay. So I think I had a very good um, interaction with you guys. Hope this will help you in finding your schools, and we may have some such counseling sessions later. So you'll be notified through email. Uh, I think that's for today. Thank you for showing up, and please share, subscribe, like. This helps to grow, yeah, and so that it also becomes useful for other people, also who are looking for, who have dreams to pursue the PhDs and in other places. So um, please like my web page Gopal Bata and subscribe YouTube and support, so that we can support other people also. Thank you very much. See you in next session. Bye bye.